not being able to play Allosaurus Rider, one of the most important things.
Oh, sure.
Yep.
Excellent. So we got Austin on top, Simic Neoform. We got Alexander on the bottom, Amulet Titan. Our players are ready to roll here. Looks like Austin's on the play. Misty Rainforest, and past the turn, a blistering start.
Oh, yeah. And both players should be 5-1, just a small graphic problem on the bottom. That wouldn't make too much sense.
That would be cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Alexander took a lunch break. He's like, you know what, guys? I'm not playing this round. I'll get lunch.
It's my bye week.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, we're here under the shadow of the Houston Texans Stadium, the NRG Stadium.
We really are.
I was kind of wishing they were playing this weekend, but they're playing on Monday away. So, so turn one, Urza Saga and Amulet, a huge explosive potential for Alexander. The question will be, will that Urza Saga Chapter 3 actually go off or not?
Exactly, yeah. Will Austin maybe have the turn 2? Or, I mean, Alexander could also have a turn 2, with another Amulet or something like that. But Saga into Amulet, that's pretty much saying, hey, turn 3, it's on.
Yeah, if you came for fireworks, this is the match to come back to here. Yeah. Round 7, regional championships. So, we got to surveil. Going in the maze. Austin's going to go into the maze and find something that he likes or he doesn't like. Looks like he likes it. Going to hand. Buzz Strand, pass the turn.
And yeah, Austin being on the play here, huge. I think in a favorable matchup, if you're especially on the play here and maybe you can get game 1 before the sideboard card comes into play, that is gigantic. So definitely back up against the wall from Alexander.
All right, so Gruul Turf floats a mana, and we see a Spelunking. So here's a draw and an extra land drop. A little redundant on the untap effects, but a little wry smile there from Alexander. I can see that.
Yeah, maybe if you don't have another land, it gets really awkward because you want second Amulet, but you also don't want to just play a bounce land and pick up your Saga, because that's not going to get you that second Amulet very fast. So that could easily be the spot where he is not feeling so great.
So you're saying Alexander only has the Gruul Turf, doesn't want to play it and bounce the Saga, so it's kind of like we're doing something here. All right, never mind.
Yep.
We got the mana counters out, Gruul Turf in untapped. We're going to see a fetch in response.
Yeah, it's got to be exactly what Alexander didn't want. That's got to be pretty telling to me. One of a couple things. The rest of the lands in hand are now the Urza Saga plus maybe just more bounce lands. Mm-hmm. There's no just like Passagia or Forest. Otherwise, that would be in play right now. So, next turn, without having Amulet number 2, just another bounce land alone is not going to be enough. So, Austin's got a chance to really maybe not even have to win this next turn. Might have another turn of reprieve.
So why did the mana counters come out there first? I was getting excited. I was like, "Oh, what are we doing here?"
I think the judge also got excited and was like, we got mana floating?
Okay. I was like, are we going off right now?
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
That would have been wild. A lot of our Boreal Grazers or something to be able to go off in that position.
All right, so end step going back into the maze. And once again, Austin likes what he sees, draws for turn. So I've had Xenagos in hand. You see an Allosaurus Rider also. Veil of Summer, not too relevant here.
No, but it does pitch to Allosaurus Rider.
It's true.
Which is big game. So, I mean, the way that this Neoform deck can win right away, it's not that, believe it or not. Mm-hmm. But for anybody that's not familiar, is you're able to get Galta Stampeding Tyrant into play, and then with the trigger on the stack, you Summoner's Pact for Xenagos, and then you double the 12/12's power, attack for 24. That's kind of the way to win right away. And there's plenty of ways where you can just get an Attrax into play, get a good hand, maybe get a Pact of Negation or 2, Pact on your opponent's turn, and then consign your Pact triggers. So those are kind of the most common play patterns from Simic Neoform.
Consign working really hard in this deck.
Very.
All right, so Saga is back. And we got 3 mana. And Spelunking, number 2. Draw a card. Now what we got, Alexander?
2 Spelunkings does not work the way you want, like it does with 2 Amulets, I'll tell you that.
Yep. Yeah, a little redundant here.
Yeah. Spelunking and Amulet essentially are Nombos. They do the same thing, where if you have 2 Amulets, you get that extra bonus. 2 Spelunkings, not as much. And speaking of the devil, I would think next turn for Alexander, it's on.
All right, so you see Crumbling Vestige comes in untapped. Second Amulet. But we're going to see an end step. That's Planar Genesis, correct?
Correct, yep.
Little impulse action.
Well, there's a Neoform. Yep. That's got to be kind of exactly what you want.
All right, so this is the turn. And there really isn't much by way of interaction as far as Alexander's concerned, right?
I think actually stone cold nothing. Like, there is no way to interact game 1 except with an Otawara or a Boseiju. Other than that, you can proactively interact with a Vexing Bauble in play. But hey, Alexander made that choice to give up that Saga on 2. It almost would have been better to have no lands in play but a Vexing Bauble, because this wouldn't be possible. And I don't think winning the game would really be possible if a Vexing Bauble's in play. So I think that easily could have been a big misstep there from Alexander, even though it feels wrong.
All right, well, it's game time. Allosaurus Rider pitched some cards, comes into play. Neoform, stacking into 7-drop to go get an 8-drop. Here is Galta Stampede Tyrant. When Galta enters, you get to put in any number of creatures from your hand. How about a Xenagos?
I like that one.
Yeah, it's a good choice, right? And
I like it.
Maybe we'll target the Galta here, 24 power, Rumble in the red zone, and that will do it. Austin takes game 1 in kind of convincing fashion. Kind of a weird game. Both players stumbled a little bit in the mid game, but of course the combo gets it done. And we see a lack of interaction on Alexander's side. Not ideal. Yeah,
not ideal as well. So you got to think trying to get that Vexing Bauble in play at all costs would be great. It's not impossible to deal with, but it's pretty tough.
All right, so let's hop on over to our sideboards here. And on Alexander's side, we got a Bajuka Bog, a Collector Oof, 3 Dismember, 1 Reclaimer, 1 Fire Spout, 1 Force of Vigor, 1 Ghost Quarter, 2 Green Sun Zenith, 1 6. Sounds weird to say. 1 Soul Guide Lantern, 1 Vampire's Vengeance, and 1 Vexing Bauble. You got Bauble coming in here. What else?
Yeah, Bauble's coming in 100%. Outside of that, not a lot is going on. You very much just want to be the most proactive deck here possible. Yeah, I think that's really all I'm bringing in. Maybe the Elvish Reclaimer to get more Sagas, to then be able to get more Vexing Baubles, but, I mean, that's even a stretch. So Vexing Bauble for sure.
All right, and then on Austin's side, we got an Endurance, 2 Hooting Mandrills, Hootie my boy, and
let's go.
2 Hope of Gearper, 2 Into the Floodmoth, 4 Mystical Dispute, 2 Natural State, 2 Nature's Claim.
Okay, so let's see. Nothing I super love either here. I could see the 1 Endurance because Amulet has kind of become this graveyard-centric deck. And then the Natural State as well as the Nature's Claim look great to deal with Amulet, as well as the Urza's Saga. You could consider Into the Floodmoth to try to interact with a Titan, but I do not love that, especially with, just trying to close the game out as fast as possible. So yeah, I think just the ways to destroy Amulet and probably that Endurance as well.
All right, so I imagine things aren't going to change that much. Often these sideboard games slow down a bit when there's more interaction, but there isn't really the right interaction here. We're just going to see some more fireworks, right?
Yeah, I would think so. Austin does improve quite a bit, though. I mean, being able to destroy artifacts or enchantments, that's big game. Being able to take out an Amulet before you can start untapping or a Spelunking. So I would think this is a good matchup for Austin. That's even getting better here in the post-board games.
Sounds great. All right, well, while they sideboard and look over the open deck list, we're going to take a second here and look at our letter, the Star City newsletter. Tori, tell me about it.
All right, so the newsletter, if you want to be aware of all the really sweet things going on, all the different sales, any events that we have coming up, as well as pre-ordering any sealed product, individual singles, all that kind of jazz, the newsletter is the spot that you want to be. Just let you know everything that's going on. StarCityGames.com/newsletter to sign up today. I'm signed up. You signed up?
This is one of the few newsletters that I am on that I have been on for over a decade.
Yeah, yeah. It's a nice one. I have been trying to send you an invitation to my newsletter, my personal newsletter, but it seems to keep getting declined. Are you working on that, or?
You know, a little box in your email where it says report as junk, report as spam.
Yes.
Go away forever. Please stop.
I haven't seen that particular one,
well,
but
I have it, and I hit it early and often.
Oh, okay.
Not related in any way to what you just said, but just a non sequitur.
Just in general. Okay, yeah. Gotcha. Well, my feelings are hurt, but let's continue.
You have no choice. You're stuck with me. All right, so sideboarding here does seem pretty important. Combo on combo matchup. Let's see if we can take a little peek into another matchup here in our awesome picture-in-picture feature.
I love this feature. It is so nice. So big props to SCG for being able to just show us more magic. I love it.
Yeah, and one of the things, when you're walking around the tournament, you can kind of walk around and peek in different matches.
Yeah.
We're strapped to chairs. We can't do that. We're actually chained to these chairs, if you didn't know.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough.
So we'll see if we can get one in. If we can't, that's also cool, too. There we go. Oh,
Woo.
Whoa, hello. All right, Corey, break it down. What's going on?
All right, so just normal stuff going on. All right, we have the Atraxa that looks like we brought back in with Gorios. Yeah, and then just a very wide battlefield on the other side. Here from definitely not Amulet Titan, I'll tell you that. Boros Energy up top.
That's okay. We're under the radar, you know?
Yeah.
It's a pretty nice board. It looks like is it a bombardment in play on the far left side?
That looks
far right.
Far right, yeah. Bombardment with a bunch of kitty cats.
Yeah.
Looks like just phenomenal high-level draws from both players.
Yeah, we came into it.
Or they were missing a lot of land drops, and we just came in here, but...
This is turn 14.
Yeah.
We see the Ephemerate also ready to go on Rebound. We got a Force Negation and Removal Spells, another Atraxa. These players are cooking.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm curious. It looks like they're also in a judge question right now.
All right, so either picture, in picture, in picture.
Yeah, can we get a picture into the side picture? We'll take a look at that, but...
So looks like our main match is ready to go, so we'll hop back over there.
If Trevor is attacking here, though, something nice that you can do is, like, attack with Flage, deal 3 to Atraxa, sack 4 creatures so that Ephemerate doesn't bounce back. Like, depending on who's attacking there is going to greatly decide the winner of that game.
All right, well, more on that later. We're back to our main match here between Alexander Beebe and Austin Brazell. Simic Neoform up a game, looking to advance to 6, and I can't do... 6 is after 5, right?
Carry the 3 divided by 4.
Yep.
Wait, let me get out the fingers. It's 6.
Okay, so a win here puts Austin to 6-1, which is a great standing to have in the tournament, of course. It looks like Alexander's actually 4-1-1, so we have a draw in there as well.
Alexander picked up a draw since we went to picture-in-picture on the other match. I don't know what happened during sideboarding here.
They found out about that lunch break, and they were like,
All right, so looking at the top, we see 2 Neoforms. That looks like a Pact as well. Maybe only 1 land. The classic Neoform hand. Like, you know, you don't play the deck to try to not get a little lucky, right?
Yeah, I think if you're starting up for Neoform, you're starting up to game. You are ready to rock and roll, but 1 land a little too risky. I think Austin in a pretty favorable matchup here wants to just make sure, let's have functional hand, let's do the thing.
If it's 1 lander, I'm on the draw, and it's a fetch land for a surveil land, you can't pay me enough to mulligan that hand.
Very, very fair. Yeah, it was an MDFC, only taps for green. So Austin sends it back. Looks like Alexander's all ready to go at 7. Nicely fanned out.
Snapped it off, if you will.
Shuffle up. A little bit of a cut, a little bit of a shuffle. Of course, we are playing at a serious competitive REL here. Regional Championship is a serious event.
I believe it's Super Serial IRL is the technical term of the...
Judge. And, of course, we're playing for Pro Tour invites, a bunch of money, 2 Worlds invites, and we're happy to have you here with us. Let's see how Austin's second hand looks.
All right, that's at least a hedge maze. There's a DFC, so everything looks pretty solid about that hand. I don't see anything to do with the Allosaurus Rider, so that's probably the one thing. But hey, that Summoner's Pact on the right, this hand actually could be borderline the best you could have.
All right, so eyeing that dragon here as a way to put that one back. Remember that card in Dragons of Tarkir Limited. Ridiculous.
I didn't play that one. I didn't play that set too much. It wasn't attached to a Pro Tour, so I didn't play a ton, even though it did look like a blast.
8-mana dragon coming to play kill your stuff.
Oh, boom,
Vexing Bobble, get vexed. So now Austin's got quite the hurdle to go through here. These packs, these Allosaurus Riders, all not doing much, but we do see old Hootie in the hand. Corey?
Yeah.
I only want to be with you.
Oh, very nice reference. Very nice reference. But good old Hootie is probably not going to be enough. There's a certain 6-drop on the other side that has a little bit more power, and it does a little bit more when you put it into play. So old Hootie's no good.
They both have trample.
That's true. That's true.
All right, so fetch and pass. We see an Amulet also for Alexander. Great start for Alexander here.
So it's not unmanageable from the Vexing Bauble. So some of the things that Austin has to do is, well, cast the free spell, consign the trigger from Vexing Bauble, Veil of Summer the trigger to get through the counter spell. But either way you slice it, it's not great. It's not great. You got to do a lot of extra stuff in a deck that is already relying on, 5 cards to be able to combo off.
So we see a copy here of the Hedge Maze. They have a Suva. Comes in on tap thanks to Amulet. A little bit of Scry action. You got a Rumble going down. Summoner's Pact Mirror.
Yeah, I would say very different decks, though, but honestly, they're pretty similar. both just degenerate combo decks that are really just, firing on all cylinders, trying to get the game done on relatively the same turn. Turn 2 is very, very good for both decks, but not impossible, and turn 3 is their bread and butter.
All right, so we got another maze. Going to once again go in the maze, take a little look. Austin's got to figure out how to get out of this little predicament here. Here's a Surveil. Looks like a Neoform. Already got one of those. Yep, and that's going to the bin.
Yep.
So pretty telling to Alexander, right?
Very telling. And another reason why I love these Nature's Claims, Natural States coming in, dealing with Vexing Bauble, probably the biggest thing that those cards do. 4 of that effect in a sideboard is a lot, and it makes a lot of sense because, well, Vexing Bauble Stonks is on the rise, so having an answer to that card seems needed in Modern.
All right, so Austin's surveying the field here. Got a few things we have one thing to worry about in Amulet and one obstacle to overcome in Vexing Bauble. And you kind of need to, pick your poison here.
Yeah, like with 4 mana in play, with an Amulet, you have to try to not die, while also trying to beat a thing that's preventing you from winning the game. So Austin's in a bit of a rough spot this game.
Gonna think it through. Now, of course, Alexander takes this game, so has to break serve in game 3.
Yep.
I think that Surveil lands are really interesting to me in that they're clearly better than Scry lands. Yep. But the fact that you have to bin a card and reveal what it is does tell a lot about your hand.
It does. It does. But how often do you think, a lot of players pick up on that kind of stuff? Do you think that is a thing that is picked up on by 95% of the RC players, or?
Maybe not 95, but I mean, amongst the players who are going to be making deep runs, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the kind of information you're looking for information at every point in a game, and that's a huge one right there. So that speaks to Austin already having a Neoform, which he does, and now Alexander got a little more info to work with, and so on and so forth. So we see an empty FC land coming up here, untapped, Bolt, take 3.
So I think one play that Austin could do there, if he really wanted to, was cast Summoner's Pact, let it get countered, and then cast Hooty Mandrills, exiling that card, and then next turn you have the way to sacrifice it to get a Traxer or something, but decided to not go for that one.
I would have liked that. Yes, okay. The land came in tapped. We had a little untap, decide for a tap. So I love old Hooty. So we got a tap here. We got a sack here. We got a.
That's a prime time.
Primeval Titan. Does that even have art on it?
Yeah, that's the Final Fantasy one.
Oh, really? Oh, it was like holding a thing up, right?
Astral something.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. It's a very dark piece of art, so it does look pretty dark from our angle here.
I think it's from one of the older Final Fantasy games, so it's that aesthetic, I know you played all the Final Fantasies right before, you watched all the Lord of the Rings movies, right? It's your jam?
Right. You mean Legend of Zelda?
Yes, Legend of Zelda, absolutely.
Right. There we go.
We're upsetting so many people and their franchises over this weekend.
Or making them happy.
That's true. All
right, so prime time's coming in. A little haste off the hand war battlements. Get some more lands, and things are looking quite good for Alexander. What's the next step for Alexander here?
Yeah, picking up some lands, and since we can't win the game, it's likely going to be some form of interaction. So, Besage you for one of the lands doesn't look great. I guess we can check a basic check, or that's not going to be a thing.
Wow, forest and an island.
Yeah, and okay, so trying to actually gain some more mana here.
So we got a Gruul Turf and a Simic Growth Chamber. That could be an explosion of 4 extra mana.
Either way, it doesn't look like anything too exciting is going to be available for interaction unless we have maybe Otawara. Being able to bounce that could be bounce something could be reasonable.
All right, so pick up the Crumbling Vestige and the Vesuva for possible land copying later.
Yep.
And just going to pass the turn. So 5 mana up, Bauble still in play. Titan threatening for effectively lethal next turn, right? I can't imagine that Titan wouldn't be able to get lethal.
Yeah, I wouldn't think it would be too difficult as well.
All right, so Austin got a lot of work to do here.
Yeah, and man, that Vexing Bobble, this is how amazing it is. That's why I really would have liked to see Alexander do a different play game one, going back to that bouncing the Urza Saga. If you just accept the fact that you're not going to have any lands in play, but you have a Vexing Bobble, I still think that greatly increases your chance of winning the game.
You think Alexander is more focused on like trying to win rather than thinking about the possible avenues of stopping Austin?
Maybe just undervaluing how good Vexing Bobble is against Neoform? Probably not, but definitely something that was probably considered, but maybe not strongly enough considered.
Okay. So I think game one for Combo next year, there was a real focus on like, you just got to do your thing.
Yeah.
So all right, we're going to see a cycle here of a generous Ent forest cycling. Going to get a basic forest.
I think we might see a Vexing Bobble check. Because I didn't see anything else from Austin that really made it clear that he's able to do much of anything.
All right, so Vexing Bobble is a trigger.
Yeah, you got to remember it.
So if you want to cast a spell, kind of like Chalice of the Void, where they got a Chalice on 1 and they're at 3, you can. It's a legal play to cast Lightning Bolt. It's on them to say, hey, that's countered.
I wonder how it would have worked that last turn, where you have Summoner's Pact. You're like, all right, cast Summoner's Pact, get it countered, and be like, whoops, didn't counter that one. Yeah, probably not a legal play.
Correct, yes. You are allowed to miss a trigger through your own, I don't know, missing triggerness.
Yes, but that's the technical term, yes.
But you cannot miss a trigger intentionally.
Intentionally, yes,
Correct.
Of course. So I think we're going to go for it here because, well, there's nothing else that you can really do. You can play Hooting Mandrills if you want, but...
All right, I don't like this... Yeah, so not exactly being super sneaky about it, just like, I'm just going to cast this Summoner's Pact. And, all right, now we're seeing Allosaurus Rider.
And then points to this and be like, all right, I'll head on out.
That's an act of unmitigated gall to get a spell countered by a Vexing Bobble and then immediately play a spell into Vexing Bobble.
Yes.
I love that.
I love it, too.
Now, what's actually happening here, though, is there are cards going to the graveyard, right? So the Rider's counter goes to the graveyard, 5 cards in the bin, can cast Hootie, can cast Neoform.
Yeah, okay. That is real.
All right, so maybe a little more than an actual check here. This is a graveyard filler.
Okay, actually, this is awesome.
All right, so 5 cards in the bin.
And that means we will have access to an Atraxa here. Okay, I thought this game was truly done, but this is a solid line to be able to get it done.
All right, so cast with the Delve ability of the Hooting Mandrills. It's a 1-mana 4/4. Mana value printed is 6. There's Neoform. Sack it to get a 7-drop. There's a few good ones in there, probably, right?
Yeah, I mean, Atraxa seems like the best one. Yeah, Atraxa. Now, the one thing that Alexander can for sure do here is attack with Primetime, put in Otawara, Simic Growth Chamber, bounce Otawara, bounce Atraxa. So that's just like surface level, and then now you have a stuck Atraxa in your hand, and you have whatever cards you pick up from Atraxa here, but either way, that still puts Alexander well and truly ahead, and that's to say that he doesn't have, another Titan, Aftermath Analyst to start popping off. Plenty of things that you could do here.
Yeah, that does remove the Atraxa, but we're seeing a full new grip here of 10 cards. You get at least 4 or 5 cards off of this. If that doesn't kill Austin, is Austin going to be able to go off next turn?
We're going to find out here. And I mean, you still have to get through the Vexing Bobble plan, and there was I believe, a nature state, so you're able to do that. And looks like Alexander flashes the Scape Shift, says, this one gets you. This one gets you good. And that it does. Sacrifice all these lands, get Lotus Field, get Mirror Pool, get Shifting Woodlands, Aftermath Analyst. You just loop that over and over again. You make Infinite Titans, attack for Infinite. And Atraxa's a really good blocker on one of those 6/6s. But the other Infinite that get through, we'll do a good job of finishing.
So Infinite damage minus 7 life gain from Atraxa.
Carry the yeah, it's still Infinite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Is that how it works? Isn't it if it's Infinite's minus 7? How does Infinity work? Someone tell me.
Take a look at the sideboard here from these two players.
All right. So also got a little work to do here going into game 3. We see the Endurance, 2 Hooting Mandrills, 2 up a gear per 2 into Floodball, 4 Dispute, 2 State, 2 Claim, Any changes?
No changes. Still keep those 4 ways to destroy artifacts and enchantments. Maybe old Hootie Mandrills increase the numbers. There's already one in the main, so that could have been the one that Austin had. But, I mean, it makes sense to have a little bit of a plan B if you play against a deck with a bunch of Vexing Baubles. And I wouldn't categorize Alexander's list as a bunch because there's 2 Baubles, but, man, I wouldn't be too shocked to see these Vexing Baubles numbers really going up in every single deck. They've looked amazing in the last, 3 weekends of Modern that I've been casting, whether it be the Mox, the Pro Tour, or this. Vexing Bauble has been an all-star in all of them.
Cool. And then on Alexander's side, any major changes, or are we just kind of doing our thing here?
I mean, you got to get those dismembers in there to deal with old Hootie Mandrills. All right, still probably not, but yeah, I don't think any big changes here from Alexander's side.
All right, so we got also on the play for Game 3. Alexander going to try and break serve, but before we get to that, let's say a little bit about you want to get some store credit. You want to get your bankroll going here. Sell your cards at StarCityGames.com, whether you're at an event or you're home. You can go to sell your games at StarCity. Sell your cards. Sell your games. Sell your cards at Star City Games. Sell your games too. Whatever. Sell everything. And you can sell your cards, and you get that big 30% trade-in bonus. So you're going to buy more Magic cards anyway. 30% is a lot.
Yeah,
that is a big up trade bonus. So you have your little bankroll at Star City. You know, you trade your cards in, and then when it comes time for the next commander deck or standard deck, whatever it might be, you say, put it on my tab. I'll take these cards. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I racked up my store credit bonus just last week as well. I got a good amount of bones in there. I'm ready for whatever next standard deck I want to play. Maybe I'll play a new modern deck after this. I'm ready to go. I
have a lot too. I'm curious who has more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I have a decent amount.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, Game 3. Alexander got to break serve. Austin on the play. And we get to see if this is going to be a Vexing Bauble game or not.
Okay, that's a turn 2 Neo 4. Oh, no, we need one more green card.
Yeah.
So if those Surveil lands finds any green card, we're good to go. But also, that's a hand that does not beat a Vexing Bauble in any way, shape, or form. So Austin can never go off turn 1. So Alexander can always have the ability to Vexing Bauble. That being said, I don't think I see it. Well, I definitely don't see it now.
All right, yep. So Alex, I go back to the well here. And I think that Alex is looking for a bobble or a very fast hand. When you have 2 basically aces in your deck.
Yeah.
And every time you mulligan, if you're not sure on a mulligan, you just think, well, if I mulligan, it's possible I hit one of my 2 bangers.
Yeah.
So going to be saying mulligan from Alex here and see if we can't find a bobble or a really fast kill.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, even if you have a turn 2 kill, that might not be fast enough. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest problem. So, mulliganing to a Vexing Bauble might be kind of needed. I hate to think that way because I think these aggressive power mulligan plans almost never work kind of like they want to. But this is also coming from a player who keeps a lot of maybe loose-ish hands and loses because of it, so maybe I shouldn't be the person you should trust in this advice.
Wasn't going to call you out there, but called yourself out. So
I've been playing with Seth Manfield on a testing team for years, so I've adopted his play style. Except I don't make as many top 8s as him.
You need to play skill also.
Oh,
it's not just the style. It's
dang it!
Too, yeah.
That's what I've been forgetting this whole time.
Yep. Seth is. I played a lot with Seth also. One of the best to ever do it.
Yeah.
Unbelievably good. There's the maze. Tops the green card.
Did we see it? It was green.
And. Get faxed. Hope that green card's a natural state.
It sure better be. Oh my goodness. One of the 2 Vexing Baubles. My goodness. That was a Summoner's Pact. So clearly, if it was one of those green cards, you would snap keep that on top. So that's telling.
All right. Back Alexander's way. There's an amulet. Alex is firing on all cylinders here.
Yeah, this is Tron right here. That's the Holy Tron against Simic.
All right, Growth Chamber, Bounce Saga.
I almost think that was another maybe minor play mistake. How does Austin ever beat a second Vexing Bauble?
I've had first Vexing Bauble, yes. What about second Vexing Bauble? That's hard to say.
Was that supposed to be a Count Dracula?
No.
1, 2.
It was not.
Okay, well.
Green Sun Zenith X looks to be 0 or 1 here. That's going to be 1. A Boreal Grazer, sloughing on in. There's Urza Saga back again.
And I will say one way to beat a double Vexing Bubble is actually Veil of Summer, a card that you would probably still not want to have in your main deck, but maybe you do.
I mean, there are 4 in the main deck, as far as that's probably part of your green card count. Like, how many of those can actually come out?
I mean, you're taking them out for 4 1-mana green cards.
Yeah. For
what it's worth, but I don't know the answer to that. Like, maybe you do still want to leave them in.
All right, so we see land 3 from Austin. We know Austin has the Neoform, the Rider, the green cards, a Pact Negation, but not much else. All right, we're getting into the red zone here. Attack for 0.
Respect.
I love an arena when you attack with a 0-power creature.
The just thud.
Yeah, it's like a dunk when it hits your opponent rather than actual damage sound. Yeah. Whatever programmer is responsible for that, if you're watching, thank you.
I know you do love that, because that maybe is like the 4th time you've told me that, so I appreciate your love for those animation sounds.
Listen, not every viewer watches every stream, Corey.
I'm saying you said this to me 4 times off air.
Oh, off air.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well, forget it and listen again. All right, we got some card instructs here.
I'm getting Vexing Bobble number 2. Yeah.
So is Alexander. Okay. It even buffs up the construct. So now there's in a really awkward way, Alexander's deck's become like the tempo aggro deck. 2 hate pieces that grow the aggro cards. We got some 5/5s in play. Let's end this game.
Yeah, now it's still not truly over. A Consign, a Veil, with enough mana, both work. So I see none of those cards in hand, though.
All right, crack the fetch.
To the maze one more time.
Gonna go in the maze and try and find a way out of this vexing, perplexing mess that Austin has got himself into.
Yeah, a frustrating way to lose, especially when you have turn 2 all wrapped up where your opponent has to naturally draw it. Like, come on. Like, if you're sitting on Austin's side, you got to feel bad about it. But, hey, Alexander's first hand might have been a close keep that was very functional. And he mulliganed to a phenomenal sideboard card and the best card against these Neoform decks.
Yep. All right, here we go. Going in the maze. Going to come out with
That's not it.
An evolution going to the graveyard, most likely. Don't need that one.
I would think it has to be Veil or Consign here. Otherwise, I think time's up.
All right. That looked like a Consign.
That looked like a Consign, yeah.
Like a Consign in the window to me. Okay. So walk me through this Consign here. How does Consign help us in this situation?
I mean, I'm 95% sure that you can just play your Allosaurus Rider, Consign with Replicate on the Vexing Bobble triggers, and go. And I think that's what Austin's asking right now. Can I consign the Vexing Bobble triggers?
All right, we got a big one here, folks.
But my question is the Replicate. Does the Vexing Bobble counter the Replicate cost? I don't think so. Like the one that's free.
You're not casting it. You're putting it onto the stack.
That's what I would think. Yeah. So I think that's what's being asked from Austin, and I think it does work out exactly the way he wants to.
All right, so we'll pop into another match here and see what's going on with Valerie versus Jesse Hampton, and we got a little Azorius Control versus Jeskai Blink. Looks like Valerie's up a game, and we got a Kahira off to the side. I haven't seen Kahira in a while.
Yeah.
And the Riddler, of course, kind of a talk of a tournament, and it looks to be in play.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks great. I love me a good Kahira. That style of deck is awesome. So, all right, we're going to figure it out.
All right, it's time to ride. 2 bobble triggers in the stack. Here's Consign with Replicate, 1 targeting each individual trigger. That means Allosaurus Rider is good to ride. There's Neoform, sack the Rider, get an 8-drop. It's party time, folks.
What a draw. What an absolute draw. So here's the thing is Alexander put that bobble into play, which did protect against all the, natural states, nature's claim, that kind of thing. But it did not beat Consign or Veil, and Austin just ripped it off the top. I mean, that is just one good top deck deserves another, huh?
Now, talk to me, though, because back on these old Neoform decks, and they were playing like Nourishing Shoal, whatever, they could draw their entire deck with a Fastest Oracle effect. This deck can't do that, so where does Austin go from here?
Blocks with an 8/8 lifelinker on these constructs and then re-attacks. I would assume, not assume, we are not activating Gristlebrand right now. It's just a big creature. So if Alexander can, let's say, find a Bounce Land plus Otawara, that would be nice. What is going on here?
Let me do a draw. I don't know if 7 is correct.
Oh, we already went down.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
7 is after. So I was going to say, there's only one attack from a 5/5 and a fetch or two. So down to 7. 7 cards along the way, thanks to good old buddy Griselbrand. We see a Heath and a pass of the turn. And now, Austin's got a full grip. We got Hootie. We got Consign. Packed negations. Got to discard a hand size.
The packs are shut off, but the Consign is still decent.
I mean, you could, in theory, I'm sorry, two bobbles, never mind.
Yeah.
You couldn't pack and counter one of them. You gotta, so.
That's true.
All right, so the thing is, though, now Alexander is kind of taking this, like we were saying, almost like aggro tempo plan here with these constructs, only one land in play. There is an amulet, so there is some go-off potential. But can Alexander go in all the way this game? Or this turn, I mean?
I think the best possible thing that can have, the card that would win him the game, is Bounce Land plus Otawara. Bounce it. You know, I don't think there's many ways to get out of that. And Austin could have played old Hootie there, play the Mandrills, but would have had to take 3 damage because I only see 1 basic forest. So that makes sense. That's not really worth it. So I don't think there was a way to play around Otawara.
All right, so back Alexander's way. 8/8 Griselbrand. Which almost sounds wrong, honestly. There's just 7s all over the card. But lifelink, flying, a couple Constructs in play, and Alexander trying to figure out how to get out of this one.
And now Austin has lined up for next turn Hooting Mandrills into Eldritch Evolution for Atraxa, and then you're starting to truly bury your opponent, where Alexander's only way out is, you know, to do the absurd Titan lines, Infinite Titans type things. But with only, you can kind of consider yourself having 4 mana this turn, where there has to be some more stuff from Alexander. And I think that's a pass of the turn. Oh my goodness.
I would say a pass of a turn is probably not exactly what Alexander needs in this game. So, gotta say go. No land drop. Just a couple baubles. At what point does Alex start sacking these baubles to try and draw cards to get out of this?
Probably just a second ago.
Yeah. It's a tough thing to do when the baubles are, you know, holding back a lot of Austin's cards. And like you said, when you have 2 of them in play, it basically turns off Nature's Claim and so on and so forth. You need to have 2 of those. So, but Alexander's just going to pass the turn.
I mean, now the one thing that Alexander does have going for him, I guess, is if Griselbrand attacks for 8, puts him up to 15, the Constructs come back for 10. 2 more damage than you're gaining, but that's like the one minor silver lining here.
Yeah, I don't think that Austin needs to draw 7 more cards. So
I don't think so either.
All right. Tapping 3. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, it's fight time.
Yes.
It's time to fight. All right. What's the difference? We got Bridgeworks battle here. Is this a bite or a fight?
It doesn't matter because it fought a Grazer, but regardless, that Grazer got beat up in this fight.
Yeah, and then we got to see some lifelink here. So you got 8 more life for Austin.
Now it's pretty safe to be able to gain some more life after you attack for 8 more. Or honestly, you don't even do that. First you activate and try to somehow get Zendigos kind of thing into play.
All right, so here we go. 7 more cards coming, down to 9 life.
So, I was going to say Hooting Mandrills with Eldritch. You know, you could get an 8-drop as well and try to, you know, win the game with that. But it should be relatively trivial here to be able to take it down here.
Now, Neoform and Evolution are both specifically 1 or 2 more, right? It's not like a blanket. Like, you could sack Griselbrand and get a Galta, correct?
No. Yep, it is +2 with Eldritch Evolution, +1 with Neoform kind of thing.
Okay.
So it looks like a Beseiju picked up. That's at least just really nice insulation against, like, a bounce land in response to untapping. Just Beseiju that, and that looks to be really, really strong. So attack with Griselbrand, play a Hooting Mandrill, just have Beseiju on defense. Seems to be good enough to me.
All right, so here comes old Griselbrand in for 8, not 7. 8 damage dealt, 8 life gained. Beseiju also costs 1 here because Griselbrand is legendary, so you could see the Mandrill and the Consign and the Beseiju.
Oh,
Natural State here also, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, we might have different ideas here. Natural State on a bobble, Beseiju on another bobble, and then Do the Thing is also an option. But with already attacking, there's really no point in doing that. So,
All right, so discard to hand size. Not a bad place to be in a game of Magic. And a lot of interaction available.
yeah, and gotta say, no matter how you slice it here, just this Griselbrand alone should be enough to clear this game out. When you get to restock on so many cards and just have more Besejus, more Nature's Claims, all that kind of stuff. So really impressive stuff from the Neoform, and Austin was one turn away from losing this game, you know, quite badly, I would say, as that turn 1 Vexing Bubble almost shut the door, but Austin had to draw it on that turn, or maybe had one more turn, unclear.
Consigned to memory. That's the card.
Heck of a card.
All right. Discard all that. I got 7 cards. It's your turn. All right, back Alexander's way. Got to do something.
And what could we do? That's the real thing. It seems like just too much for what it's worth. I mean, with Consign, with the Natural State, with Beseju, just feels like far too much.
Look on Alexander's face agrees with you.
Yes.
Sort of a smirk of resignation, but going to take a second. It's an important match.
Definitely feeling a lot better on turn 1 when that Vexing Bobble was on the stack.
Yep. All right, so tap a Simic Growth Chamber. We got a blue. We got a green. And we got
a Bobble heading to the yard? Float a green?
Nope.
Oh?
How about Amulet number 2?
Get it to the yard.
Austin says nope. Up.
Honestly, I think if I was Austin, I would claim the first one in response and then consign the other one, just to prevent any kind of shenanigans.
All right, so 1 green floating. Amulet is on the stack. Amulet resolves.
I mean, the one thing that Austin does have going is Beseju interacts incredibly well against bounce lands, because just before you untap them, Beseju it, get it out of there. And then in response to that bounce land, or in response to, let's say, a Lotus Field, you can. I guess a Lotus Field actually would be quite bad. So I think it's much safer for Austin to destroy these amulets.
All right, well, that green mana is going to go into a Grazer.
Okay, I mean, if this is Lotus Field, I feel like there's actually some trouble. Probably not enough, but never mind. We're just going to combat.
All right, so how about just a defensive Natural State?
Love it.
All right, so goodbye Car Instruct. Now we see an attack for 5, which doesn't feel too great against an 8/8 lifelinker.
Yeah, 12 looked a lot better, but still, honestly, even if Austin was at 16 life and attack for 15, I think Alexander would still lose the game, you know?
All right, so going back Austin's way, there's a whole bunch of junk in play on Alexander's side. Multiple amulets, multiple baubles, but
I'm shocked Austin didn't interact more there. Consign one of those amulets, blow up the other, like, kind of just take everything from him.
All right, so what do we got going on here?
Let's see if the game is just over.
Looks like he wants to cast an Eldritch Evolution. This is why I asked this earlier. So Griselbrand cost 8. Now we're looking for a 10 drop. Am I reading Eldritch Evolution wrong? Are we incorrect on the?
Mana value X or less. So yeah, Eldritch Evolution does have that text to be able to go for anything. And Galta, give it haste with Zendigos, locks it out.
All right, so a really, really impressive win for Austin there. Under 2 baubles, looking totally vexed, but comes back, finds a top deck, a little Surveil land, a little massaging, and takes it down in really impressive fashion.
And I will say that matchup is good for Neoform, but man, Austin really made it as close as possible there. That was a really cool match, I gotta say.
Yeah, that was the road less traveled.